For a little over a decade now, my research has focused on attempting to identify the needs, physical and mental health needs of undocumented Latino immigrants and their families that have particularly been residing in the United States for about 10 to 20 years.
A veces las personas que vienen a vivir a...
The primary area of my research is to try to identify what are some of the needs, physical and mental health needs of the undocumented community and the families and the communities in which these immigrants are embedded. And one of the recent things that we have found on some data that we've been looking at, as a high proportion of them are experiencing significant distress associated with transnational debt. In the case of undocumented immigrants, a lot of the times they are blamed for the circumstances, right? So they are blamed because they're here illegally, so they don't have documentations, so they are perceived as, well, it's their fault that they cannot travel and be with their relatives, or, they abandon their families and now, they're dead. And the immigrant, him or herself, feels guilty and has a lot of shame. So it creates a dynamic where they cannot externalize it the same way in which someone who is probably in a different situation traditionally grieves. So this causes a dynamic in which, for example, they might get less support than usually available. They will talk about it less probably than in more overt or accepted situations, or they might be blamed more, which is associated with the psychological distress that we're seeing in the people who have experienced transnational debt. And the primary reason to study this is from a prevention perspective, because the undocumented immigrant experience affects everybody that surrounds the undocumented immigrant, him or herself, with the goal that we can develop interventions that can be cost effective and that can be easily disseminated to the people.